G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 3 of my beginner's Ravenous Earth Ritualist playthrough. Last episode we finished up Act 1 and did a whole bunch of crafting for components. You can see the scaled hide here on my chest piece. And this episode we're going to be jumping into Act 2. However, before we get started on Act 2, we have to go to Act 7. So we'll talk to the emissary here, and we will accept his quest and jump on through the portal. Now, I'm not even going to be leaving town here. We are just here for a movement rune, and then we're going to push on with Act 2, as I said. Since we're in the area, though, we may as well head down here and get some free loot and our first legendary item that we are not going to use. So we bash this open, and we get the totally normal shield. This is a mace that if you equip, it looks like a shield, so you can dual-wield shields, at least visually, if not actually. You can see it looks like a shield, the icon is a shield, but if you look at the top there, it quite clearly says it is a mace, and that Southpaws will understand. Fun weapon for some builds, not this one though. So, grab that, and I'm just going to sell it to Jugal here. And the other thing I'm going to do is go around and pick up all of these lore notes, because they're not really that useful at sort of level 50 or so when you would get here normally, maybe even level 60. But at level 17, this is going to be a decent chunk of XP. So I'm going to go around and pick them all up. I want to say there's 7. I could be just completely making that number up in my head, but I think 7 sounds about right. We'll have a look once I've collected them all anyway. Obviously, everybody loves loot. Dreadlords of Readiness on that ring is maybe worth using. Let's have a look. What do we got here? Attack damage converted to health, a little bit of regen. No resistances on this, so yeah, no, we're going to be selling that. Alright, couple more of these little bad boys to pick up, and we'll be on our way. Now, when it comes time to choosing a witch god cult, which is pretty much now, the correct answer is actually it doesn't matter. In terms of the loot, we'll just have a quick look at it. I haven't actually gone through here and looked at all this stuff. But if you do a search for TY space DA, you'll see these items have got vitality damage on them. Helmets are irrelevant because we'll be using an MI. Shoulders you could have a look at. This is a pet item, so we're not interested in that. But the Black Flame Mantle could be okay. And same deal with these two. One of them's a pet item. The other one could be alright. So Soleil's not a bad choice. What I'm going to say, though, is that your choice of which faction to pick in normal should come down to which of these metal adornments you want, and more specifically, which movement skill you want. So Soleil is really good to pick if you like the Rush skill, which is basically similar to the Oathkeeper's Via's Might skill. Dreeg is good for the Teleport, where you just appear over here. It does a little bit of damage, and there's various other versions of it later. And Bismail is, yeah, I'm not sure what Bismail does. I think Bismail has the Shadow Strike, or maybe the Blitz one. Anyway, let's do this trial here. Now, this is not going to be difficult. We're going to put a whole bunch of Ravenous Earth down in the middle. We're going to change attack to move 2, because I don't want to ever swing my weapon at anything ever again. And then we're just going to run around in circle until everything is dead. Squire's Gauntlets is not a horrible blueprint, although it's not particularly amazing either. And as you can see, we can kind of stand in the goop with this build. I have played... My highest level Vitality caster is actually a Conjurer, which is where I worked out that I don't really like Conjurers. But my next highest level was basically this build, but instead of having Shaman, I instead had Oathkeeper for the Guardians of Empyrean. And that character died because I got used to standing in the goop, and then I attacked the Guardian of Soleil, who puts goop directly on the floor underneath you and stacks it up and stacks it up and stacks it up and has like 4 or 5 piles of glowing purple goo on the floor underneath you. And as soon as I killed the boss, I stopped leeching life, and then these 5 piles of goo killed me in about a second and a half. So You can stand in the goop, but I don't recommend it. Okay, so we've just reached 25 points in Necromancer, which means we are getting Decay. Now, Decay is one of those fun skills that it's actually not amazing, okay? 10% vitality and poison damage, yeah, okay, that's 10% more damage, and 2% less damage from anything that you hit with it. Again, you need to put lots of points into this before it's good. So we're just going to put 1 for now. I might take this up a bit higher, but I'm kind of thinking Spectral Binding and actually Devouring Swarm is the way to go. Okay, I'm going to keep putting points in Spirit here. I don't see a reason to stop. So we're going to keep doing that. Now, obviously, if you're feeling squishy, what? Are you playing a Vitality caster? They're not squishy. But if you are, you can put some in Physique. It doesn't really matter. We need to get our Spirit up to about 700 by around about level 94. So it's going to be fine. Alright, let's go ahead and speak to them. Now, like I said, Soleil's good for the rush skill, which is basically dash over to here. Requires no target and just works all the time, which is a good one to have. You have Bismail over here, which has, what do we got with this one? Leap. Okay, so this is basically Leap Slam from Path of Exile, if you played that. You jump through the air, you can jump over some walls and maybe up the occasional ledge here and there. And then, yeah, this is basically Shadow Strike. So you've got those two options for Bismail. Vitality damage, you have some. Not great. By the time you can use these, you notice all this stuff in this tab is level 84 required. By level 84, you'll probably, if you want to be, you'll already be revered with all of these if you're actually trying to do it. So that tab's kind of not super important. And the first tab here, which is what I've been kind of looking at, also requires level 65. So you'll have revered, or sorry, you'll have respected with all 3 of them by the time you can actually wear any of this stuff. So I'm going to make the decision based on, 1, I haven't done this particular quest line for a few characters, and 2, I just like the movement skill, so I'm going to go with Dreeg. Dreeg is also technically a vitality / poison kind of themed cult, but realistically, it doesn't matter. Also, don't accept his next quest, because we're not going to do it, and it's just going to sit there and bug you. Well, it's going to sit there and bug me. We can also talk to Riggs here, get some free XP. I think you can just click... Yeah, you can just click through that first option, and he'll give you some XP and a free item. And then later, we can pretend we never saw him and just go to Ultimate. Actually, we are going to need to do the Court of the Magi, or Morganeth's Folly, no, what's it called? Tomb of the Heretic, there we go. We are going to actually have to do the Tomb of the Heretic, because there's a hat we need from in there. But not for now. So, either I missed one, or there is actually only 6, but we go from, what's that, about 20% through the level, almost exactly. And we get about, let's say, 25% of a level. If we come back here and we're level 60, maybe level 70, probably level 60-ish, that's going to give us, 2 or 3%, probably, something like that. Okay, let's get on with Act 2, and actually by get on with Act 2, what I mean is, I didn't buy the movement rune. No, I haven't been drinking. Maybe I should. Alright, we're going to run back, and like I said, I sided with Dreeg, so I'm going to have to go and get the teleport rune, which is actually pretty good. The Rift Stalker one here. What is this, 1,000? I'm going to buy 5. You know what, I'll buy 6. And then I'm going to chuck that onto my medal, and I'm going to put it on button number 1, because that's where I like to have my move skills. And then we're going to start just kind of teleporting around, which is going to be fun. Okay, I'm going to grab some scrap out of the bank, because I'm pretty sure I didn't repair the bridge, although, looking at my scrap pile, I think I may have actually repaired the bridge. I do try to repair it before I do crafting, and I think I remember saying something about that. So I'm going to say that I've already repaired the bridge, and if not, well, we'll go for another run. I'm pretty sure I already repaired it. Yes, excellent. Good job past me. Alright, so coming into this area, you have a lot of Cronley's gang, and they will do a decent amount of piercing damage, some fire damage, and then later in Cronley's lair, they'll be doing aether damage. Generally speaking, top row as close to 80% as you can get it, and just as much as you can for the rest. Also, we have some devotions to play with. I do have a point just kind of chilling out right here. Now, what I'm thinking is I want to get to Ratosh the Veil Warden kind of as fast as I can, which means I need red, green, and yellow. So the easiest way to get red is the Jackal. So we could just go straight for the Jackal. Jackal's good early because of the total speed. This will get us some more running around juice. And it also gets us a little bit closer to the Wendigo, which has a very nice vitality damage proc on it. And I would like this one to be part of my build-up. So that's going to give me 2 red, and then the Jackal's going to give me 3 red. This is going to be another red, so that's 6 red altogether, which is conveniently exactly what I need for Ratosh. So I'm going to spend that one, and when we get our next devotion point, which is not going to be too far away, I'm going to go back to town and take that green point out. Alright, so we've got Shanks here, and we're pretty much just going to use the usual tactics. This is what we're going to do for most bosses, and by most bosses I mean pretty much all of them, is we're going to stand in their face to keep them on top of our little booger volcano, and we are just going to tank it, because we will be decently durable, let's say, and we will be leeching insane amounts of life. It's kind of not super obvious at this point if you don't know what's going to happen. But we will end up getting Bone Harvest, which is going to allow us to leech from the attack itself. We will be getting Siphon Souls, which has Life Leech on it already. And then once we go into Shaman, Devouring Swarm, wouldn't you know it, Life Leech. And then the totems here. The Wendigo totem gives us a percentage heal. As long as we are standing near it and an enemy, it will basically give us a heal. And then it will also give us more attack damage converted to health. And I think the Storm Totem might be the only thing that doesn't actually leech life. So, more or less everything we do is going to be stealing health for us. Oh, and I've clicked the wrong button. So Stephen Skinner has just burned his family alive. Unfortunate, but we didn't really need his ring anyway. The ring is not horrible. It has some physical damage on it, and it has some... actually a lot of health, so it's not a bad ring. I'm more upset that I'm losing a bunch of XP. See that rock there? That's the rock that these things are incredibly dangerous for. If you see that rock, you really need to not be where it lands. Also, let's go ahead and eat the blueprint and the law note, and we'll head on back here. Now, there is another devotion shrine just here. And there is also 2 heroes who are going to donate some XP and some gear to me. So let's go ahead and pop these, and unfortunately, hasn't really given me much of anything at all. That's a lot of stats. That's actually pretty good resistances as well. The only downside is that I would lose armor, so I'm actually not going to use those. Even though they are a slight upgrade in armor, or in resistances, they would cap pierce resistance, but no thank you. Alright, so we've got Regenerator, and we've got Unstoppable, and they do kind of hurt those things. Gunslinger's Jacket, so if we wanted to, we could now dual-wield pistols without being an Inquisitor. We are not playing pistols, though. And just for a change, I'm going to do the smart thing and talk to my good friend Drew Larkin here before I come out the other side of this cave. Let's see if we can't move this along a little bit quicker. Oh, more golems. You know what? I'm going inside. You enjoy your rock-throwing party out here with the pigs. Alright, so Spine Cove here. We are here for exactly one thing, and that's the Desecrated Shrine. There is also an Exalted Chest here, so you can get a guaranteed blue item. Once you get to level 50, it would have a chance to give you a purple item as well. But, yeah, I'm just going to pop it and be on my way. Alright, Fighting Shrine, let's go. Everybody gets a Booger Volcano. And notice the energy requirements are getting a decent bit bigger. So we are going to start running into energy problems kind of soonish. Fortunately, we're going to also run into energy solutions kind of soonish. There's level 19, which you'll love to see. I think at this point I want to get Shaman and Devouring Swarm. Let's just have a quick look at the Necromancer side of things. More points in Spirit, because more energy required. What do I actually want here? I definitely want 1 point in there, so that's going to finish leveling Ravenous Earth. I do want more in Decay, but the benefits of this are kind of whatever. And I do want Spectral Binding, but I think it's definitely time to start putting points in Devouring Swarm. I think I'm just going to max this. Maybe 1 point per level in the bar, but Devouring Swarm is really good. The damage is so-so. The lifesteal is kind of whatever. But the Vitality Resistance Shredding is really, really good. So yes, I'm going to confirm that. And we're going to chuck a point in there. And now I can go back to town and get my devotion point back out of the green crossroads and put it into the second point in Jackal, which is going to give me a bunch of total speed, which is really, really good. This is where I would keep my Stephen Skinner, if I had one. I don't, unfortunately for him, but it is what it is. So next point in the Jackal there, and then we need 6 blue. This looks like 5 blue for 4 points, so 1 in the blue, bunch in there. That'll give us what we need for the Wendigo. And then I think we need yellows and a couple more greens. So I want to get Ratosh online as fast as I can, because the sooner we unlock it, the sooner we can start leveling it up, and the earlier it will be stronger. Right. Now, as I was saying about that Exalted Stash, let's head on over here. You can see Barros Radlith up there, my man. My favorite ghost in the game. He and I go way back from when I was leveling a Spellbreaker. Had to farm him for a shield. And I think he's probably sick of seeing me, to be honest. But that's alright. He gets to see me one more time. I'll see how he goes for sort of health. How much damage he starts taking. And we can make a decision, which... Yeah, I've made my decision. He gets to live. He has too many hit points. He doesn't have anything I want aside from loot and XP, but he doesn't have any special loot, and I can get loot and XP from pretty much anywhere, so we're going to leave him be. We'll come out the back of the cave, and I see that totem up there, so we're going to head up and do the totem. Also, these yellow guys here, priests, they must die immediately, if not sooner. If you can somehow kill them before they show up on your screen, do it. They are incredibly annoying, especially if you run into something really big and tanky, like, for example, Musiloki or Ilgor in the Steps of Torment. Anything big and tanky, if there's a priest or two standing behind it, they will just heal it way more than you can damage it, and it will literally never die. Right, let's pop this totem. And see what we can see. Now, these guys here, Ralgar the Aether Touched, yep. He's big enough and tanky enough that if I see a priest, or if there's a priest in the area, I should say, they're just going to keep him alive pretty much forever. I probably should have had that next one over there, just in case one of these was a priest. But those big green circles on the floor are something you want to learn to avoid, because they will straight up kill you. It seems like your vitality, or your Aether resistance, sorry, doesn't really seem to affect them. They just do a ton of damage to you, and there's not much you can do about it. Right, Unholy Inscription is really good for your gloves. More attack damage converted to health, although at the moment we can't actually use that. And then Vitality and Bleeding Resist is definitely something you want as well. Before I put that on, these gloves are much better armor-wise, but otherwise not very good. This is actually really good. So Ovsalael's Malice gives us that Doombolt proc there, which is really good because we are a vitality damage build. And obviously percent vitality damage, really good as well. So we're going to chuck that on. Sorry, doggy, you're out. And what do we got here for gloves? That's a lot of armor. That's crazy amounts of armor. I think I have to wear those gloves. So I'll chuck that one on there. And I can't wear those gloves anymore. I'm 2 points of physique short. Okay. Can I wear this on anything? I can. There we go. That's not really what I want to use on my fun new offhand, but it's what I'm going to have to use to wear these gloves, so that's fine. Right, so damage procs. Doombolt, really, really good. If you can get a seal of consumption, or sorry, a sigil of consumption on an offhand, on a main hand, on gloves, on, I think helmets can have them as well. If you can get it, you definitely want it, because the sigil comes with lifesteal built into it, and we're actually going to have a couple of those items when we get to level 35, assuming we have the reputation. Okay, so here's my favorite caravan driver. This is Isaiah Redden. We want to take this guy's side. So earlier we talked to... what's his name? His partner. I can't remember his partner's name. Anyway, we talked to the other guy down the hill, and I made a big deal about talking to him before I go into the cave for a change. This is the guy that we were sent to find and deal with. But Isaiah Redden is actually the good guy, so we are going to take Isaiah's side. I'm sorry, I rushed to judgment. Yeah, the guy who sent us to deal with Isaiah is basically the scum of the earth, and we don't want to be doing anything for him. Also, Isaiah Redden is a really, really, really good merchant when we get to Act 3, so we definitely want to keep him around. Alright, here is the Rovers, and we are searching for Graven's Elder, because his Elder had a relic, and he wants the relic back. And unfortunately for him, that's just not going to happen, because I also want the relic. What was that blue book? Dementia. Okay, cold stuff, yeah, not interested. So we'll get rid of all this. Any of these items you find that you think is pretty good, you can keep. Milton's Cask, we don't really need anymore, but Aether Resist is kind of more useful than Chaos at the moment, even though there's not a lot of it. There isn't pretty much any Chaos damage at this point in the game, so Aether is a little bit useful, and Chaos is not really at all. Right, let's go get my... Hang on, did I sell my scaled hide? No, it's right there. Okay. Go get the scaled hide back, put it on our chest. Pretty much any time you swap a piece of gear, you're going to want to come back here, keep the add-on, chuck it back on. Armor rating, especially armor absorption, both of these stats are really, really important while you're leveling. If you're a veteran player and you want to use the Lokars set, that's fine. Just be aware that armor is the one thing that it lacks, and armor is really, really going to help you in... I'm not sure why I'm looking at these, I'm not going to buy any of them. In terms of defenses, armor is kind of... Do I want to say it's the most important? I think resistances are the most important, but armor is also very important. Let's just say that. Alright, into the mine, and we are looking for dynamite, because we have a wall to blow up. The other thing we're looking for is bees. Specifically, they have little hives on the ground, and we want to click on those or attack them with our booger volcanoes. But generally speaking, I haven't got one to show you here because I keep killing them by accident. We want to pop them all because we're looking for royal jelly, which comes from the bees, the hero bees especially, and also these things, the wasp nests on the floor. So we want to hit all of those. There we go, there's 2. You need 3 of them, and I've already got 2. Why do I feel like I've turned the loot off? I haven't. It's probably a white item. Or a couple of yellows. Yes, you need 3 of them for a quest that will become available in the next little kind of a town area. Not really, but kind of. So we want to get that. This guy here, Nicholas Balthazar, is... Well, you just saw my health bar just get cut in half. That was him. So he is decently rippy. And you know what? I don't have a health potion available, so I'm just going to run away until it is available. And then I'm going to have to use it. So this guy is incredibly annoying to fight. Especially when you don't have a potion. And he doesn't want to die, which is really annoying. Whoops. I was supposed to use my my teleport to go on the other side of him and dodge that attack, but it didn't quite work out. Okay, Balthazar's quest of protection is not horrible, actually. Or at least this version. Physique, health, defensive ability, not bad. No resistances, so I'm not going to wear it, but it's definitely not bad. Okay. I'm looking at my health, and I'm going 100 times 20 is 2,000, which I have only just a little bit more than. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 points in Devouring Swarm, and I'm going to start putting points into Spectral Binding. 1 point in Spectral Binding gives me 90 health. Which actually, because we have some percentage health on various items, is a little bit more than that. The other thing I'm going to look at here is this chest, the Fortified Doublet, or Doublet. I'm going to put that on, which means now I need to go... Oh, I can't put it on. I'm short on... Really short on Spirit? No, surely not. Physique, yeah. Okay. We're short on Physique, that's fine. I want to wear this. Turns out I can't, so we're just going to not. When we get the relic here, that'll give us a 5% bonus to all of our stats, which should be enough to give us the physique we need to wear this, so that'll be fine. Right, moving on. Oh, the dynamite here, apparently I picked up a second one from somewhere. You only need one for the quest. So as long as you have one, you're good to go. The other important thing, as I said earlier, is the bees, and if you can get your hands on 3 royal jellies, I've got 2. If you can get your hand on 3 here, then you don't have to go into the beehive. Looks like I have to go into the beehive. Not a big deal either way. Any kind of, well, not any kind of potion, but a lot of different potions you can craft at the blacksmith will need royal jelly. Anything with royal jelly in its name, you're going to need it. So it's definitely worth getting a few extras if you can. Priests? Go, no priests. Alright. Spirit totems can be scary. When I pop this, I'm going to be looking out for anything with corrupting on it, because this individual totem, this basic spirit totem, has killed me before. So, let's see what we got. Yeah, these guys. These guys here. Necrolask is specifically the thing that killed me, although he had some help from a warlock. Whoop, there we go. There's the priest healing him up. See why I hate priests now? Alright, so anything that's corrupted, we'll put one down as like it casts it as a spell, and then when it dies, it'll drop another one. So be careful where you're standing. Insulating of tormented souls. We get a little bit of vitality damage there. Nope, not interested. Astral Mantle, no. Slugger, no. Briarthorn Band is actually not horrible. Health and armor percentage. 10% Aether Res. It's not horrible, it's not amazing. I'm not going to swap it in, but it's not bad. Alright, here's the thing we are here for. The Elder Matthias. We will do as he asks. Now, he's given us this item right here. This is the Bone Talisman. This is the relic that we were sent to find by old mate down here, Graven. Now, ordinarily, I just give it back, because this particular relic that that you get for stealing from them it's okay, but if you're not having energy problems, it's kind of whatever, especially if you're like me and you keep forgetting to actually push the button. So if you're like me and you're rubbish at remembering to push buttons, then this relic is not going to be quite so good. However, we will have energy problems at least for a little while. And so, no, I didn't find the talisman. Lie. There we go. we have now got the Bone Talisman, which auto-equips because it's the first one that's available if you don't craft one. And it comes with 5% to all of your stats, and Mana Infusion, which gives you... I'm holding control, why aren't you showing me? Alright, fine, we'll go in here. Auto-equips, which gives you a clicky button. You can push it, and for 10 seconds you will get 20 energy regen per second, 30% increased energy regen, and 100% to all damage. Now, that is not double damage, because if you remember down here, we've got vitality damage. We've already got 62%, so we're at 162%. This will take us to, well, let's just show it. This will take us to plus 162, which means we are at 262% vitality damage. And so it's actually something like 60, 70, 80%, something like that. It's not nothing. It is actually a nice increase in damage, but the main thing we want out of it is the energy regeneration. Okay, destroy the barricade, extra bag, some iron, some reputation. Okay, vendor all of the loot that we want to sell. I'm gonna have a quick look at these. I'm not super expecting anything particularly amazing, but we can have a look, see if we got any vitality damage stuff. If there's any weapons with a vitality damage proc on it, I'm interested, but otherwise not really. Okay. Back to where I was heading. To the beehives. Alright, we blew the gate open, that's what the dynamite was for. And we can pop these guys. Yeah, this way, across the bridge. You can get some heroes here, and just up here around the corner as well. They're decent XP, good for loot, all that fun stuff. But here come the bees. Now, it's semi-likely that I'm going to end up getting some royal jelly from, yeah, there we go, from outside the beehive. I'm going to go in and do it anyway, just because that way I can kind of show the area, and also explain why we're here, I guess. Although I've already told you why, but we can go into more detail. So in here, again, we have the wasp's nest. You can bash them. They will sometimes have loot. They will sometimes have royal jelly. But this is what we're here for. We're here for the heroes. So the heroes are going to have a much higher chance to drop royal jelly. And they also have other loot as well. See, there's another royal jelly. And we'll just throw a few devouring swarms around. The good thing about Devouring Swarm is it's really good at triggering any kind of procs, like, I don't know, maybe you have a book for an offhand that casts Doombolt for you. Devouring Swarm is going to be really good for that. And we'll probably end up putting, what's it called? The Twin Fangs proc from the bat. We'll probably end up going on Devouring Swarm. So new helmet. A little bit more armor, elemental resist. I don't really need that, so there's no real advantage to wearing this helmet, aside from the bit of armor, but I think I'm going to keep the Aether Res instead. Alright, no jelly. The main thing we're here for is the Queen, and the Queen is over here in the sort of middle right, I guess we'll call it. So here she comes, Ronaprax, the Grand Queen. Make sure you stay in melee range of Ronaprax. You do not want to be having her using her shotgun attack. You just want to stay nice and close, and she will hit you. But if she's just stabbing you with her tail, that's fine. You can heal through that. If you're down here and she uses her shotgun, because she has an attack that sprays, I think it's like 3, 4, maybe 5 projectiles all at the same time. If they all hit you, you're going to have a bad day. Blighted of Alacrity. Okay, so that's vitality stuff. And Alacrity is attack speed. Piercing and vitality resistance. No. This, however... Oh boy, my favorite suffix. Alright, this build is actually one where I'm going to say, you don't need Of the Grove. We have so much life leech, or we will have. We kind of already have pretty good life leech. We will have silly amounts of life leech. You don't need to get Of the Grove on your amulet. I would even say it's a waste of time for this build, rather than just it's a nice to have that you can skip. No, I'm going to advise everyone to skip it. We will be using the Deathwatcher pendant, at least for a while. I think probably until we find a blue or a purple with +1 necro skills on it. And the Deathwatch pendant, I'm just going to say get resistances on it and don't even bother with the of the Grove. If you can get a vitality damage proc, great. But otherwise, don't worry about it. So 1 point in Spectral Binding for more life, and then 2 points in Devouring Swarm. We are already, with 5 points, up to 22% vitality resistance shredding. I believe that gets up to almost -60, something along the lines of -60. This is really, really good. It doesn't do huge damage on its own, but that massive pile of resistance shredding is going to allow our Ravenous Earth to do crazy damage. Okay. I have to actually click on this before I get the point. And, okay, so we're done with the Jackal. Now, I do need some blue stuff, which means I could take this point out of here and put it into the blue to get to the Sailor's Guide a little bit quicker. This is something I could do, but there's really no advantage to it at the moment, and 18 defensive ability or 5% health, it's kind of whatever. We're still going with Spirit. Can I use this now? Not quite. Okay, that's fine. We can get some more stats from items, or we can just wait for another level or two, and it'll be fine. Yeah, so I need that red point in, or that point in the red crossroads anyway, when we get to the Wendigo. So, yeah, you could kind of min-max a little bit by taking it out. By taking it out, but realistically, it's not a big deal. Right, Sigil of Consumption on a book. And the book comes with some spirit as well. Alright, this is really, really good because it is an overtime effect instead of a one and done. So our Doom Bolt here is going to hit for 298 vitality damage and some chaos damage that we are not scaling. It's going to reduce the enemy's health, and that's kind of it. Whereas the Sigil of Consumption goes on the ground, lasts for 6 seconds, and ticks for 177 per second, and it's going to provide us some healing as well. So this one is better, in my not so very humble opinion. So we're just going to use that. I am tempted to just sell this. I think by the time I can actually use it, I won't care. Yeah, still can't use it even now. That's fine, we'll just leave it. Right, let's go back to Devil's Crossing, talk to Mornay so we get these quests active here, because we can already turn at least one of them in. Alright, Mornay, come here. Feed me your conversation pie. Okay, we will get on it. Absolutely. Okay, the other thing to point out here is this is the Rovers faction merchant. It would be another one right here. He may not actually be here. We might have to leave and come back. But there is a faction merchant who lives here. Oh, it's him. Alright, this guy has got some stuff we want. These shoulders, +2 to Ravenous Earth, really good. 33% vitality damage, pretty good. So these are going to be good. The Roari Vestments, also kind of good, +2 to Dread. I'm pretty sure... No, Decay is the second one, isn't it? But vitality damage, energy regeneration, 2 resistances, not bad. And this weapon is going to be really, really good for about 5 levels. Another Sigil of Consumption. This one, unfortunately, when you are hit rather than when you attack. But you are going to get hit, so 100% vitality damage increase and a vitality damage proc. This is really good. Once we get to level 35, we will probably have better than this by the time we can equip it. Because, spoiler alert, the Monster Infrequent main hand weapon that we're going to use, we will have around about level 26, 27, usually, is when I get to it. Right. Here's Golgoth the Rampaging. And big overhand slam. Dodged it too slow. Not too slow now, are you, though? So we can just more or less bounce back and forth. We want to dodge the big overhand slams, and otherwise we just We just kill him. These guys, you probably don't want to try and stand in their face and tank them. You definitely could, but we don't have a huge pile of health, and our armor value is never going to be particularly amazing. So I would recommend against trying to tank any big physical attacks like that. You will basically be invincible as long as you don't get one shot. And those big physical slams, you know, meteors from the sky, anything that does a lot of physical damage is something that actually can kill you pretty easily in one shot. So you definitely don't want to be tanking the really big slams. Alright, the Whittle Rat's dead, and Hallion's next. I think we can more or less just stand here. Hold down the right click. Occasionally spray him with the bees, and there we go. Hallion's Crest is a pet item. We're not really fussed about that. The thing I came here for is the dynamite. The added benefit of coming through this particular cave is I get to avoid fighting Wrecked by Protoss or Ascidian, and I don't really want to fight them. You definitely can, but you don't gain anything aside from... I was going to say clout, but that's not really the right word. We'll say bragging rights. You get bragging rights from killing them. It's honestly whatever. You can go kill them if you want. Is it Igor, the brawler or whatever, does have the brawler's distinction medal, which is not bad, but it's kind of not relevant for this build. Or I shouldn't say it's not relevant. Removing enemies' ability to heal is always relevant, but it's not something we want to be wearing. Especially after we get the Monster Infrequent medal that we're going to be using. We really don't want to be using it. Alright. Just picked up a new belt. That is 2.5 on stats. Yes, we are using that, absolutely. Can we now swap that in? Yes, we can. Alright. So resistance-wise, we've just absolutely nuked our poison and acid. We'll get 20 of it back from the anti-venom salve. And we've lost a little bit of piercing... again from the belt, but that's fine. I'm gonna go get my components back. Here we go. Dial it. Keep that on the chest, and then on the belt. We want this bad boy. Now, have I picked up a Mark of the Traveler? It doesn't look like I have one yet. That's fine. The other thing I'm looking out for when I pick them up is the soul shards to go on the rings, and probably should start looking for a new hat. The incendiary casks can be quite good. You really need to get resistances on it though, otherwise it's probably no good. The other thing is I'm thinking about putting the vitality, the hollowed fangs. I've got the stuff I need to make them now. They do give percentage vitality damaged and decay, which is actually the only thing on that we can use, because all that flat damage, the bleeding damage, all of that requires you to actually hit something with a weapon. And we don't do weapon damage, so it's kind of... You know what, we won't. We'll wait till we get the... I think it's Hallowed Steel is the next upgrade to that. So that'll be fine. A few percentages is not going to make or break. I may end up using the salt or the... What's the other one? Salt or silver, I think the other one is. For resistances at a later date. Which is one of the strengths of this build, I guess we'll say. Is that because we don't have a damage aura that we can put on our weapons, it doesn't cost us as much to use the resistance auras instead. Notice that guy over there just dying to Spectral Wrath. Notice these guys just dying to Spectral Wrath. Always good. Always good. Alright, we got a boss here. This guy's always here. He does sometimes have friends. But this time, it's just him. And we are going to just kill him. Alright. One more of you bad boys. So that's my bandit forge is dead. If you need another one, there's another one over here. But I definitely don't need them. So let's head on in here. Welcome to Cronley's hideout. There's a couple of relevant things in here. First one we're going to run into is the devotion shrine you can see right there. So let's head on around there. One thing to note about this area is a lot of fire damage and a lot of aether damage. So if you've still got Milton's hat, go ahead and keep it on for pretty much this entire dungeon, including the boss, because the boss will also be doing aether damage. Aggressive Scorching is a no, but maybe the item itself is good. Yeah, it's kind of whatever. Alright, down into the pit. There could be a treasure trove, a totem over here somewhere. If you find it, go ahead and do it, because it's probably going to be relatively easy at this point. And more loot and more XP is never really a bad thing. Alright, let's just pop these. And no one's here. Okay, Blighted. Blighted is good, otherwise no. Don't forget to pick this up, and we are going for blues. So next one is going to be the Sailor's Guide. We will not be finishing that for a little while. But once we have it, we'll be getting the Wendigo. And then once we get the Wendigo, we'll probably swap Twin Fangs onto Devouring Swarm. And the Wendigo will go on Ravenous Earth. Then we'll start working towards the Ratosh Devotion, which is honestly the one we actually want. Alright, here's Nadra the Shadow, who is currently invincible. And then now she's no longer invincible. Twin Fangs rank 4, love to see it. More damage means more life leech. More life leech means more safety. Let's not stand in that. And I think we're good to go here. Yep, Delnar Blackeye, I think his name was. Regardless of what it actually is, he's dead now. Right, shoulders, Vigorous of Thorns, no. Chest piece, downgraded armor, no. These are kind of interesting. So, I wouldn't mind having a little bit more pierce resist, and so I'm not going to take the aggressive restored gauntlets off. But these preserving, that lightning damage at this level doesn't really matter that we're not shredding lightning resistance. It's going to be useful anyway. So that could be good to use. These boots are amazing. Absolutely, yes. It's a straight upgrade in just about everything. In fact, literally everything except for cold damage and defensive ability, which I don't care about 12 defensive ability. So, straight upgrade there. Do we have any Mark of the Traveler? We do not. Okay, that's fine. So we're into aether damage territory now. We're going to start seeing a lot of it. There is still... Is he here? Nope. So there is still one more of Cronley's lieutenants in here. That's Moneybags. He is going to do a ton of fire damage. And he's probably the scariest thing in here, except for maybe Cronley himself. Alright, one more point in there for the extra health and the OA, which is always good to get. And then 2 points in Devouring Swarm. So we're up to minus 28%, so anything that was basically immune is now going to be taking damage. If you didn't do the Durrani quest and kill him back in Act 1, he will be standing here, he will be glowing green, and this door will be locked. You will need to talk to him and then kill him. Doesn't really make a big difference which way you ended up going, whether you killed him in Act 1 or you killed him here. You still have to kill him. Absolutely swimming in dynamite. It's a shame you can't use dynamite offensively, like throw them at bosses. But it is what it is. Alright, we'll kill a few of these, and you know what? I might go kill the bees as well. Nothing personal, but I need the jelly. Actually, not really. I've already turned that quest in. But hey, more loot is more loot. Okay, more pet stuff. Love to see it. And nothing else really useful. Alright, there we go. More pet stuff. Pet stuff everywhere as soon as you don't need it. When you're playing a pet character, it doesn't exist. Just like the Perdition set, which I'm sure will be raining from on high. There's another dynamite. Okay, and here is... Who are you? Cyril Shadesong. Okay, I thought he played StarCraft. There we go. Alright, so I didn't run into Moneybags in the first area. I didn't run into him down here? I think down here. Which means I know he's in this room. So I can go around and kill off all of his friends and then kind of sneak in, but you know what? That's boring. Let's get ourselves killed. I mean, bum rush the room and everybody should die. When you're facing a room full of enemies like this, what you can do is kite away and force them all to run over all the procs that you're doing. Now, obviously, Moneybags doesn't care. He's tanky enough that it just kind of doesn't matter. Do make sure you're not standing in fire with him, though. So his little fire bombs on the ground, the thermite mines, are going to shred your fire resistance. So you see here, actually I'll pause this, 120 defensive ability reduction. He can probably crit me when I'm standing in that fire. And then I'm taking damage as well. So I don't want to be having my defensive ability shredded. Explorer's Tunic's really good. And then Martin's Crest, not so good for this build, although maybe the stats on that are actually pretty good. The 200 energy is kind of interesting. Probably going to keep going in Spirit, actually. Or do I go Physique here? We'll keep going in Spirit. Why not? And we've already spent those. We don't have any of these. I'm just checking before I go into a boss room. I'm making sure I don't have any gear upgrades that are just ridiculously good and obvious and I should be using. I'm also checking all of this gear for Aether resistance, because the boss I'm about to fight does a ton of Aether damage. These I'm going to wear for the resistances, so I'll have to go and swap that component back. Not seeing any... Actually, I was going to say not seeing much, but I'm not seeing any Aether resistance, so we're just going to go with what we've got here. What I could do, actually I'm going to do it. I have 2 component slots free on my main and my offhand, so we are going to go into this fight with 86% Aether res, assuming I have enough Aether crystals, which is not a safe assumption. Is it salt? It is salt, so I'm going to be short 1 corpse dust. Can I create that? Cannot. Okay, so we're going in with not 86%. Where do we go? Salt, salt, salt. Where are you? I know I'm blind, but this is silly. Alright. New plan. If you've ever crafted a component and you can't find it, just dump everything in here, and it'll be one of these. There it is. Purified salt. So we're up to 75% Aether res. If I had another one of these, that would go to 86. I probably could go and farm one up, but, you know, it's probably not worth it. I could also destroy one of my rings to get the ones I have on there, but again, not worth it. Alright. Let's go kill Cronley. Honestly, anything even 40% and up is probably fine. More is going to be better, but yeah, this is fine. Watch one of these drop a corpse dust now. I think the corpse dust actually drops from undead. Alright. There is a boss behind this door. That's what that door means. Anytime there's a door like this, it means there's a boss behind it. The great thing about this boss is he wants to talk to you the first time you see him. So we can run around and kill off all of his friends. We can try and pick the lock on his chest. We can actually take this one. Serenity, there's Blight. So there's +2 to Ravenous Earth. We could actually use this, but I'm not going to. Alright. We talk to him and we say something like that, die. Now, he's going to put a shield up, and I'm going to start running around in circles, because his shield here, I think it's 90%. I'm not sure the exact number off the top of my head, but it's massive damage reduction. And just standing there is just going to let him do a ton of damage to us for basically free. So I'm watching again the Aether grenades, same as Kaizog has. I don't want to be standing in more than one of those at a time. I'm also watching for his shield to go up again. This is not a high damage build, and so he will get his shield up at least once more, maybe even twice more. I say as he doesn't put it up. There it is. Yeah, so when he puts his shield up, just run around in circles. Try not to stand in the green goop. If it's green and glowing, it's probably bad to stand in. But otherwise, we can probably just kill him. This green goop will end up underneath your feet. There is not really much you can do about it. So just change position every now and again. And as soon as he dies, run away. Because all this goop is going to be on the ground. You're probably standing in it. And you're going to stop stealing life as soon as he dies. So make sure you're not where the damage is when he does that. Okay. This, I think, is going to be a new ring for me. Cronley's Signet comes with Pierce Resist as standard. The Fire and Poison is from that Resistant prefix. So if you get something with another good resistance on it, so say you get Pierce and, I don't know, you got Warding, so it's Pierce and Aether. That's probably worth wearing. The Velos ring there, I think, is the one I'm going to swap out. 7% Aether res, not a big deal. Also, I picked up a piece of the Explorers set. This is the Locars set that we have at home. This is the blue XP set. So each piece of this set, and there are 4 of them, comes with 5% additional experience gained. And unlike the Locars set, this one doesn't make you a... I was going to say paper tiger, but it has armor on it. The Locars set doesn't really have armor. So this can be good. 2 of the pieces of this set are drops, and 2 of them come from blueprints. Now, I've already found one of the blueprints, I think for the pants, from memory. And the tunic is a drop, so the boots are another drop, and then the helmet, I think, is a craft. Maybe they can all drop, but if you get the whole set, you can wear this for XP bonus, and then turn in a bunch of quests in town where you're completely safe, and you just get 10, 5, 20% bonus XP. Now, I personally hate doing that. It's a pain in the backside, but it's something you can do. Okay, let's chuck this on. We'll lose a little bit over here on the Aether resistance, but we will gain piercing res. I can probably not quite take off the Silk Swatch. So we lost a little bit of Aether. We gained Pierce, we gained Poison, and anytime I see Fire resistance, I just ignore it. Fire resistance does not exist to me. Same with Cold and Lightning. Individual resistances of the Elemental type, I don't care, they don't exist, because there are items like, where are we? Boots here. This is 21% elemental resist, which means it's 21% fire, 21% cold, and 21% lightning. That ring, that's 24% fire. So where's the rest of my affix? Yeah, I'm not interested in single elemental resistances. Okay, and just something different, I'm going to remember to do the cleanup from Darius, so go ahead and pop his chest here. Liches of Decay, this is pretty good. I may end up using this ring as well. What do we got? Pierce, Poison, and Vitality. How far over am I on Elemental? So yes, I am going to be using that. That's going to swap in instead of the Slith Primal Ring. Now, the Slith Primal Ring is still a very good ring. And you'll get another version at the start of Elite, and then another version at the start of Ultimate. They're all very good rings. However, this is better, so I'm going to use that. The 10% damage to Beastkin, the energy regeneration, it kind of sucks to lose that, although this does have a little bit more energy regen. It's got percent spirit on it, and it's got vitality damage, so this is a really good ring. And what was the other thing I was looking at? Arcane Law is not bad. Some energy regen. What was it? Maybe that was it. Oh no, I didn't pick it up. Okay, not that one. And Drieg's Gaze, no. Okay, Malady, some poison stuff, but we're not using that. We're not playing an occultist. Okay, the Aether Cluster here. You have 2 options. You can destroy the laboratory and keep some of the crystal for yourself. This will give you... Well, this is the option which I'm going to take, so I'll explain that in a second. You can also destroy the laboratory and the crystal. That will give you some Aether Souls. I believe it'll give you a Purified Salt, or maybe it can give you a Purified Salt. I forget exactly what it gives you, but you get some Aether components. This one, however, you get an Aether Cluster. So this will give you 8 seconds of 75% damage absorption. So it's just crazy amounts of mitigation. and you carry it around, so make sure you have it on a bar, because if you die and you didn't use this, you're going to feel awful. Ask me how I know. Alright, don't forget to punch this, because it can, yep, there we go, can have free XP in it, as well as lore notes. And the other thing to note is don't get blinded by all the loot and think, oh, I've got to go back to town and change components and all that sort of stuff. Make sure you leave. And people who have watched the channel for a while now have seen me do this. Make sure you leave and get the rift gate out the other side, because otherwise you're going to have to stop recording and run all the way back through the empty hideout to get back here. Because if you're anything like me, you will teleport to town, and then you will rift somewhere else and clear the rift, or you'll, you know, end the recording and forget to go and get it, and then the next episode you're stuck in town and thinking, why didn't I grab that? So come out here, grab the rift, kill off any of the priests, which all have to die on sight, all of them. I'm watching you guys. However, that is going to be the end of the episode for today. We've just broken an hour, so I think that's long enough for now. But yeah, that's it for today. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.